Young-eun wants to know how Jae-guk would spend their time together if it was limited. He answers like they have a long, long future together. Young-eun then poses another question. After ticking everything off, should they break up? We flash back again to the day Young-eun visited Hyoke. Hyoke promises to die if the couple continues to date, willing to force Young-eun to watch Jae-guk's guilt tear him apart. The one's office is crawling with members of a due diligence team the next day. Rumors that the company is being bought out hang heavily over the employees. In CEO Hwang's office, Chi-suk demands to know if the rumors hold any truth. CEO Hwang denies them, but Chi-hyung doesn't buy into his oblivious charade. La Fayeur snubs Sono's initial portfolio of designs. Given their precarious position on their home turf, Nari and Sunju question whether the La Fayeur project is even worth their effort. Young-eun holds steadfast to her belief that a designer's job is to design, not worry about upper management. Meanwhile, Young-ja notifies Taek-soo that she has put their house up for sale. Taek-soo refuses to sign the divorce papers, finding no faults in himself. Young-ja accuses him of cheating, still unaware that he's been talking to Jae-guk and not a mystery woman. Young-eun and Jae-guk share lunch at the same time that their mothers meet by coincidence in a bathroom at Hills. When Hyoke insinuates a difference in standing between their families, Young-ja calls Young-eun in a fit of rage. Jae-guk takes the phone, and the brunt of Young-ja's wrath. Hanging up, Young-ja delivers her final blow to Hyoke, shaming Jae-guk's illegitimate status. Jae-guk and Young-eun split up to collect their wayward mothers. On the drive home, Young-ja tells Young-eun that Taek-soo has been cheating. We cut to a family meeting where Young-eun helps Taek-soo clear up the misunderstanding. Unfortunately, her parents only find new things to argue about. Mi-suk asks Suho to throw her a goodbye party while she's still alive. Suho begs her to stop acting like she has already passed. Mi-suk wants him to let her go without fuss so that she can pass away peacefully. CEO Hwang checks in with Do-hoon to monitor his progress with Chi-suk. Do-hoon relates how he gifted Chi-suk a book of poems that very day. Though Do-hoon is confident that she liked it, she's currently complaining about it over the phone to Young-eun as she leaves Vision PR. In the car park, Chi-suk spots Suho having a clandestine meeting with Min-kyung. Min-kyung begs Suho to help her with her work, but he shrugs her off. Young-eun meets Chi-suk outside Mi-suk's apartment. Chi-suk is hellbent on snitching, but Young-eun warns that the news could worsen Mi-suk's condition. Inside Mi-suk's apartment, Chi-suk keeps her lips shut. Mi-suk gives them two pieces of advice. The first is that love can also be letting go amicably. The second is that while you have it, express it without hesitation. In a conversation with Yu-young, Jae-guk explains that he heard from the bartender that served Suwon and Yu-young on the night of the accident that Yu-young followed Suwon out into the rain in her own car. Yu-young alleges that she followed Suwon to stop him when she realized that he was drink driving. In an accompanying flashback, we see Yu-young try to overtake Suwon's car. She pulls into the opposing lane and must swerve. Suwon also swerves, though he ends up crashing while she does not. That night, Chi-suk shows up at Do-hoon's apartment with a bottle of wine, intent on taking Mi-suk's advice and showing him a night of passionate romance. We cut to Do-hoon serving her a pot of tea, cautioning her over the dangers of excessive drinking. Chi-suk doesn't understand Do-hoon's slow and steady approach to their relationship until he lets her know how precious she is to him. Young-eun, having received Chi-suk's earlier request to keep Jae-guk away from Do-hoon's apartment, keeps working from inside his car. He gets an incoming call from Hyoke and doesn't answer until Young-eun prompts him to. Even then, he gets out of the car before picking up. Young-eun sees this as the beginning of a strain on their relationship that will only get worse. Hyoke sits in Suwon's old room and has a flashback to Jae-guk asking for her to accept Young-eun. It's the first time he's ever asked her for anything. The Sono team gets a request from La Fayeur for a fabric test report. It's the worst possible timing. They've already begun production. Before they can even decide what to do, another email from La Fayeur requests for design modifications. Amidst this mess, Sunju gets an offer for a position with another company. The catch: Nari must jump ship with her. Young-eun wants to reject La Fayeur's demands if they cannot come to an agreement soon. For the first time, Gwang-soo gives her his full support. In the middle of packing his office, he's obviously past caring and on to finding a new job before the acquisition. Revision requests from La Fayeur continue to pile up as the fabric vendor comes to the one with the final samples for Young-eun to choose from. Young-eun decides to go with Sono's initial fabric choices, unwilling to lose Sono's identity for La Fayeur's whims. Jae-guk arrives at Hyoke's house to find that she's packed up Suwon's old room. She says she will allow Jae-guk to keep seeing Young-eun if they wait until she dies to take their relationship further. Hyoke also admits to telling Young-eun the same thing. Jae-guk finally understands why Young-eun has been obsessing over a breakup. He shows Hyoke the extent of his anger for the first time, telling her that the only reason he hasn't kicked her to the curb is because she is his mother. After storming out, Jae-guk goes to find Young-eun and hugs her while apologizing. To herself, Young-eun hopes that their breakup will be somehow special. We see Jae-guk suggesting to Young-eun that they should move to Paris together to escape the constant criticism. At the following day, rumors of an acquisition keep gaining traction. Nari and Sunju work on their portfolios for the interview Sunju arranged with a potential employer. Young-eun won't stop them, but she does expect them to continue to do their best for Sono while they're still on her team. Unlike her seniors, So-young hasn't joined the frenzied job hunting, uninterested company politics. She's more concerned with doing her job well, so that she can see people wearing the shirt she designed. Chi-hyung is impressed with her mindset and asks her out. Though she rejects him twice in a row, the mood between them stays playful. Taek-soo and Young-ja threaten to take their divorce proceedings to the courts. Young-ja's lawyer has advised her to compose a letter explaining why Taek-soo is responsible for the breakdown of their marriage, so that he will be ordered to pay her alimony. Taek-soo cannot see the whole impact of all the smaller things Young-ja has included in the letter. The two argue over the division of their assets while Young-eun finds Young-ja's discarded letter drafts. In them, Young-ja writes that Taek-soo would only refer to her as his wife or Young-eun's mother, and he never gave her room to be anything but those titles. In the company cafeteria, Chi-hyung and Chi-suk discuss their grand plans for after the one is bought out. Do-hoon joins them with a lecture on how they should be pillars of support for their employees through this uncertain period. Overhearing this, CEO Hwang's opinion of Do-hoon skyrockets. Suho's mother drops by his apartment unexpectedly after learning that he quit his job. She finds Suho in the kitchen while Mi-suk is resting and launches into a hurtful tirade about how Mi-suk is dragging Suho down. Suho tries and fails to get his mother to cease her ranting. After standing up for herself, Mi-suk leaves to get some air. She ends up at Young-eun's apartment, and they complain about her mother-in-law together. Mi-suk also remarks that she would prefer for Suho to go back to work. Yoo-young finds Jae-guk at his studio and reflects on whether her relationship with Soo-won would have really been perfect if Young-eun hadn't gotten between them. With only what-ifs left, Yoo-young will continue to resent Young-eun and miss Soo-won. However, she now encourages Jae-guk to hold on to Young-eun to avoid the same fate. Suho comes to collect Mi-suk from Young-eun's apartment, but Mi-suk's medication has left her in a deep sleep. Young-eun tells Suho that Mi-suk would like him to go back to work and act like nothing has changed in their lives. The next day, Jae-guk shows Young-eun pictures of the properties they could buy in Paris. She decides that she cannot go with him while Mi-suk is sick, her parents are divorcing, and Sono's future is in the balance. Back at the office, Young-eun contemplates La Feir's continued silence since Sono stuck to its original designs. She will no longer wait for La Feir's response and wants to put on an online buyer's show for Sono's 2022 SS season. Still planning to jump ship, Gwang-soo easily agrees to the plan despite the risks. CEO Hwang also signs off on the idea after Young-eun, Chi-suk, and Do-hoon laud its merits. He discloses that the due diligence team was sent by an investor, and he will use the investment to finance the buyer's show. Young-eun goes home that night to find Taek-soo waiting outside her door. She calls Young-ja, who says that Taek-soo hasn't been home for 2 days. Young-eun tells Taek-soo that Young-ja is trying to break up with him before her love for him turns to hate. She also asserts that Taek-soo is not returning to his house for the same reason. In a concept meeting the next day, Young-eun and Chi-suk fit Mi-suk, who giddily agreed to model for them, with her outfit for the show. Suho is employed again with Vision PR and is also there discussing logistics with Do-hoon and Jae-guk. The day of the show arrives, and Mi-suk asks Min-kyung to look after her daughter for its duration. The broadcast begins with less than 20% of the buyers joining. Just all hope seems lost. The connection rate reaches over 70%, and all the big buyers join. Eventually, Olivier himself also joins. Mi-suk is the last model down the catwalk. In a flashback, Young-eun reveals that she made Mi-suk's outfit especially for her and will not sell it. When Young-eun hopes it will bring Mi-suk happiness, Mi-suk displays contentment with her life as it is. The flashback ends as a healthy applause accompanies the show's end and buyers place their orders. Meanwhile, Jae-guk tells Hyoke that he went to Soo-won's grave. In a flashback to his visit, he tells his brother that he will break up with Young-eun. In the present, he asks Hyoke for 1 month of bliss with Young-eun before he finally breaks up with her. In Do-hoon's car, which has been commandeered by Jae-guk to drive Young-eun to work, Do-hoon gets a ride with Chi-suk, who mentions that he is the first man to like her for herself instead of lusting after her wealth. Young-eun's phone is now constantly ringing after the success of the buyer's show. Worried that Young-eun might accept a job offer, Gwang-soo is taken to singing her praises. Kim Seo-hyun, the chief editor of renowned fashion magazine Nouvelle Vague, wants to interview Young-eun as an up-and-coming designer. When they meet, Seo-hyun comments on Sono being the first Korean brand to receive orders directly from Olivier. At Hills, Vice President Choi admonishes Yoo-young for not extending Sono's contract, wanting her to put profit before her pride. Young-eun wants to treat Jae-guk to a homemade meal, so he joins her at her apartment after work. When he asks if she knows how to cook, she tells him that she'll just look up a recipe. We cut to Young-eun holding up said recipe for Jae-guk while he cooks. Meanwhile, Mi-suk is hit with a bout of pain. Her daughter, Jimin, notices before Soo-ho does and fetches Mi-suk's medicine. This troubles Mi-suk since she doesn't want Jimin to fall into the role of her caregiver. Young-eun and Jae-guk finally sit down to eat when he gets a call from a realtor. He explains to Young-eun that someone wants to sign a lease for the photo studio he is renting, so he needs to be out next month. Young-ja starts refusing to baby Tae-soo, and he grasps that he has no idea how to do basic household chores. Without Young-ja keeping things running like clockwork, Tae-soo gets a taste of the rest of his life without her. Young-eun is visiting Sono's Hill storefront when Yoo-young meets with her to renegotiate Sono's contract. Young-eun snubs Yoo-young, directing her to the one to discuss any contract renewals. Moving on, Yoo-young asks Young-eun if she can let Jae-guk go when she loves him so. Young-eun believes that she can, now believing that forced proximity is not the only way to love someone. Mi-suk asks Young-eun to take the afternoon off work to help her make kimchi. Young-eun finds Chi-suk already up to her forearms in cabbage when she gets to Mi-suk's apartment. Mi-suk has 3 containers ready. One for Young-eun, one for Chi-suk, and a third left unlabeled. So that the trio can have the apartment to themselves for the night, Soo-ho takes Jimin to visit his mother. As the friends talk, Chi-suk accidentally lets on that Soo-ho has been cheating and is shocked to find that Mi-suk already knows. Mi-suk encourages the idea of Soo-ho moving on. This pushes Chi-suk over the edge, and she wails into a blanket. At Do-hoon's apartment, Jae-guk asks to terminate his contract with Vision PR and reveals that the Paris Photo Association wants to host his exhibition. With the way his relationship is going, it's unlikely he'll be coming back. Jae-guk tells Young-eun this news the next day. Also making big decisions, Young-eun shares that she is putting her apartment up for sale. Even as their trajectories move further apart, they pretend that everything is fine. Young-eun receives the question list for her interview. Less than impressed, she meets with Seo-hyun and points out that the questions revolve solely around Olivier's interest in Sono. Young-eun rejects the interview, unwilling to let Sono be used as a prop. When Young-eun takes her leave, Yoo-young drops into the seat opposite Seo-hyun. Seo-hyun asks what kind of person Young-eun is. Yoo-young admits that Young-eun was the long-term object of her jealousy, but also acknowledges that Young-eun has won her respect. Mi-suk invites Min-kyung to her apartment, wanting to thank Min-kyung for looking after Jimin by gifting her the 3rd container of kimchi. Chi-suk ignores a text from Jimmy, the model who cheated on her, who now appears to want her back. While waiting outside the office for Do-hoon, Jimmy accosts Chi-suk, trying to convince her to give him a second chance. Chi-suk completely rejects him, but he only leaves her be after Do-hoon arrives. The following day, Jae-guk and Young-eun take a trip to a scenic park. As they picnic on the grass, Young-eun thinks to herself that it's getting harder to let Jae-guk go. Chi-suk tries to call Do-hoon, but he's at a restaurant with CEO Hwang and doesn't pick up. CEO Hwang offers Do-hoon a partnership, wanting Vision PR to handle future PR needs for the one's brands along with a 15% increase on the retainer fee. Jimmy is walking down the hallway and listens in. Soo-ho forwards an email to Do-hoon, letting him know that Olivier is offering Young-eun a position with DPHP and wants Vision PR to handle the negotiation process. While Do-hoon says little, CEO Hwang guesses the contents of the email. Jimmy calls Chi-suk, telling her that he can prove that he's the only man who truly loves her. When Chi-suk pushes for him to stop being so cryptic, he refuses to tell her anything more over the phone and asks to meet. Unaware of the chaos brewing, Jae-guk and Young-eun watch the sunset. Young-eun declares that, if they ever cross paths again, she'll consider them fated to be together. Jae-guk adds that he won't let her go when that happens. We see Do-hoon presenting Olivier's offer to Young-eun. It's an attractive one. Young-eun would manage DPHP's luxury brand, Duchamp, in Paris and would be provided with an apartment, car, and sales incentives. The Paris dream she gave up for Suwon is now within arm's reach. Later at the one, Young-eun votes for taking Hill's new and improved contract, wanting to pave the way for other domestic brands. CEO Hwang gives her the go-ahead. Young-eun spends her lunch break at Jae-guk's studio and notices that Jae-guk is fully booked for the next 2 days, even though he should be preparing to return to Paris. Jae-guk shrugs off Young-eun's concerns, ready to stay a little longer even if he misses the opportunity. Do-hoon sits in CEO Hwang's office relaying the terms of Olivier's offer to Young-eun. CEO Hwang shows fatherly warmth towards Young-eun's career progression and wants Do-hoon to fatten the offer for her if he can. Chi-suk catches Do-hoon leaving CEO Hwang's office and has a flashback to Jimmy telling her that CEO Hwang met Do-hoon alone. It doesn't help that Do-hoon won't tell her why he was in CEO Hwang's office. Filled with doubt, Chi-suk meets with Jimmy, and he pulls out photo proof that CEO Hwang and Do-hoon met. Chi-suk defends Do-hoon's honor until Jimmy mentions that CEO Hwang increased the retainer fee to 15%. Tae-soo sneaks into Young-ja's room while she's washing her hair and reads through her letter. In it, she worries that her resentment will grow until she's left with nothing else. Tae-soo finally begins to understand Young-ja and tries to apologize and tell her he loves her. Unfortunately, he gets her attention by annoying her, and his words fall on deaf ears. After a long day at the studio, Jae-guk has a flashback to that morning when Do-hoon told him about Olivier's job offer. His mind then takes him back to lunchtime with Young-eun when he asked her if there was anything she wanted to tell him. She wasn't forthcoming, and he picks up the phone to book a flight to Paris. At that moment, Young-eun goes over the terms of Olivier's offer with Do-hoon. He explains that she would be contracted for a limited number of seasons, and, based on the results, contract renewal would be on the table. Do-hoon also tells Young-eun about Jae-guk's opportunity to have his own exhibition at the Pompidou Center in Paris, a dream scenario for any photographer. Do-hoon wants Young-eun to accept Olivier's offer so that Jae-guk will stop hesitating. The next day, Chi-suk confirms that Jimmy was telling the truth about Vision PR's new contract with the One. She goes to Mi-suk's apartment and cries so much that Mi-suk even calls Young-eun over to help calm her down. The trio have the apartment to themselves again because Mi-suk has sent Suho clothes shopping for Jimin with Min-kyung. Chi-suk and Young-eun are shocked, and Mi-suk explains that she is breaking up with her regret, hope, and greed before she can waver and hope for more. Suho gets home after Young-eun and Chi-suk have left, confused about why Mi-suk keeps dragging Min-kyung into their family matters. Mi-suk makes it obvious that she's known about his affair for quite some time. Though she has assessed Min-kyung positively, she asks Suho to only love her while she's still around. Suho gets on his knees, devastated and begging for forgiveness. Young-ja finds her house empty of Tae-soo. She gets ready to write that he has been sleeping out in her letter, but finds a sticky note on top that reads, "I'm sorry. I didn't know." Chi-suk barges into Do-hoon's office and accuses him of using her to get closer to CEO Hwang. Do-hoon stands his ground, maintaining that he won the new contract with hard work and that anything else would have been an insult to his employees. He goes a step further to say that it was even harder because of their relationship, since he had to do a good job to avoid unfair accusations. Meanwhile, Young-eun tells Jae-guk that she won't be going to Paris. She's unwilling to let her designs be dictated by the need for high sales to ensure her contract is renewed. Though this means they will part, she says that she's not letting go of Jae-guk, but her regret and greed. Do-hoon returns home to find Jae-guk drinking in the dark, torn between understanding Young-eun enough that he knows he shouldn't ask her to reconsider and feeling like he'll go crazy if he doesn't ask anyway. The following day, after Young-eun formally rejects Olivier's offer, CEO Hwang asks to meet her. Young-eun explains that she couldn't imagine living life without Sono and the meaning it gave her. CEO Hwang confesses that he thought she was motivated by money and is now ashamed to have been so wrong. Moved by Young-eun's sincerity, CEO Hwang wants her to establish Sono as a separate company under a licensing agreement. She would run it as a personal brand with profits split down the middle. Overwhelmed by the unexpected opportunity, she needs some time to think it over. Word spreads like wildfire, and Seo Hyun from Nouvelle Vague soon asks for another, more appreciative, interview with Young-eun. Jae-guk agrees to take the pictures for the magazine spread. Chi-suk and Do-hoon give each other the cold shoulder until they end up in the hallway together at the One. She feels that he gave her reasons to doubt him, while he expects more trust from her. Chi-suk suggests that they end their relationship. Do-hoon, whose mind never strayed there, is mad enough to take her up on it. Young-eun's interview takes place in the Sono office space. When asked about Sono's name, Young-eun tells the story of the unknown photographer and casts a meaningful glance at Jae-guk. Young-eun also clarifies that she rejected Olivier's offer because her definition of success has changed. Rather than a glitzy Paris adventure, she wants to remove the prejudice standing in the way of domestic brands and let her passion echo out. Seo Hyun comments that the photographer must be proud and asks if Young-eun has anything to say to them. Young-eun looks right into Jae-guk's eyes and thanks him. Leaving the office after the interview, Jae-guk reveals to Young-eun that he booked his flight to Paris and pulls out 2 tickets. One has Young-eun's name on it. Jae-guk wants her to forget about their jobs and families, determined to make a decision as his lover, asking for her to come to Paris. We see that Tae-soo has no idea on how to move on from his marriage, especially since he doesn't want Young-ja to only remember the bad things between them. Chi-suk confronts CEO Hwang about buttering Do-hoon up for her. Frustrated, CEO Hwang denies that he would ever waste company resources on undeserving individuals when he has employees to look after. CEO Hwang will keep working with Do-hoon, whose talent he appreciates, even if Chi-suk breaks up with him. Even after that revelation, Chi-suk is still mad that Do-hoon agreed to break up so easily. Young-eun finds Do-hoon helping Jae-guk to pack up his studio. While Chi-suk has been a wreck, Do-hoon is confident that this is just a small misunderstanding that their relationship can bounce back from. After Do-hoon leaves, Jae-guk gives Young-eun the prints from Mi-suk's session. His studio equipment will be removed the following day, and then he'll be all set for Paris. Mi-suk has been getting Suho and Jimin ready to live without her. She starts coughing up blood and worries over all the things she has left to arrange for them. Suho tries to stay strong for her, assuring her that he can step into her shoes. Young-eun has yet to give CEO Hwang an answer regarding Sono. She barters for time, gaining until after the coming weekend. As the weekend arrives, Young-eun helps Jae-guk pack up his room, noticing the photos he took of her during their first shoot. The moment is soured by Hyo-kae's arrival, though she doesn't try to antagonize Young-eun now that she's satisfied with their looming breakup. Later, Young-ja drops by Young-eun's apartment with food for Taek-soo. Young-ja confesses to being as bothered by his absence as she is by the sight of him, though she's still set on a divorce. Taek-soo has their house inspected in preparation for renovations. Young-ja loses her temper, not wanting him to throw money into the house when she has put it up for sale. Refusing to sell the very house Young-eun paid off, Taek-soo resolves to fix it up and move out. Hyo-kae stops by Jae-guk's studio the next day to take a family portrait with him. As they sit in front of the canvas, she tells him that mothers must sometimes be cold-hearted, but she will always be his mother and wait for his return. Young-eun and Chi-suk are called to the hospital by Suho. The doctor informs the three of them that Mi-suk should start saying her goodbyes. Mi-suk herself still refuses to be admitted, wanting to spend what little time she has left being Jimin's mother. Grieving, Chi-suk ends up outside Do-hoon's apartment building. She's crying behind the wheel of her parked car when Do-hoon peers through the window. They patch up their relationship, with Do-hoon saying that he hopes to never break up with her. Elsewhere, Jae-guk walks Young-eun home. He's due to leave the next day, and he proclaims that his love for her will still burn long after they've parted. On the day of his departure, Young-eun starts packing up her desk in Sono's office, deciding to resign instead of accepting CEO Hwang's offer. She tells him that she will regret it later if she doesn't branch out on her own now. Meanwhile, Mi-suk welcomes Jimin home from kindergarten. Mi-suk imparts a lesson on her young daughter, explaining that one day Jimin will come home, and Mi-suk won't be waiting for her. Euphemizing her own death, Mi-suk tells Jimin to live healthily for a long time. On his flight to Paris, alone, Jae-guk has a flashback to Young-eun seeing him off at the airport. In it, she thanks him for loving her and for allowing her to love him in return. With the courage she learned through their love, she plans to face the future. That night, Mi-suk expresses to Suho that her life has been happy because of their love. He apologizes for having to let her leave alone, and she apologizes for having to leave him behind to raise Jimin solo. Even so, she also tells him to only be sad for 3 days after she's gone. We fade from the image of them lying in each other's arms to Mi-suk's funeral. Jimin clutches her mother's portrait while Young-eun looks at the light filtering through the trees above them and says her final farewell. We cut to Young-eun taking Jimin to kindergarten while Suho goes to an early morning meeting. By now, Jimin can tie her own hair and recite her allergy needs by heart. Afterwards, Young-eun goes to the one and says her goodbyes to the Sono team, giving each of them some last advice. In a flashback, she tells CEO Hwang that she will be an independent designer, trying styles that she was too scared to pursue before. She attributes her long-term complacency at the one to her own fear of failing, but that no longer holds her back. Seeing the team flounder after her sudden departure, she annotates each of their design sketchbooks with advice and leaves the one for the final time. Chi-suk steps up, wanting to help Sono succeed as its co-founder now that Young-eun won't be around. Min-kyung waits for Suho as he leaves Vision PR one night. She regrets that she'll never be able to apologize to Mi-suk and offers to be a big sister to Jimin to make up for her wrongs. She also promises to think of Suho as a colleague and nothing more. After going home, Suho, now confident doing housework, prepares dinner and helps Jimin to change up. He finds a box Mi-suk left in Jimin's drawer full of useful items, birthday cards, and presents for Jimin as she grows older. Overcome with emotion, Suho pledges to do his best by Jimin so that Mi-suk doesn't have to worry over them anymore. Young-eun throws herself into her design process, motivated by the thought that her strength and her clothes will carry her to Jae-guk eventually. Unfortunately, she has a hard time finding suppliers or a factory that will run the production for a mini line, and she can't finance anything more than that. She pulls strength from her memories of Jae-guk as rejections keep coming her way. Word of her struggles finds its way back to everyone she left behind at the one. We get 2 brief scenes with our dreaded antagonists. Hyo-kae eats dinner alone in her home under the portrait she took with Jae-guk. Yu-young continues to remember and miss Suwon while life goes on around her. So-young and Chi-hyung hand in their resignations and join Young-eun's brand despite her unwillingness to drag them into such an unstable environment. They help her clear out her big walk-in closet and turn it into their new office space. Young-eun gets a call from her old senior saying that Chi-suk has apparently landed into hot water again. She rushes over to the restaurant that her senior runs to find that Chi-suk has thrown her a surprise farewell party. Gwang-soo, Nari, and Sunju are in attendance. Gwang-soo has also gathered Ms. Choi and a few other suppliers that Young-eun worked with while at Sono. They all agree to help Young-eun launch her mini line. Jae-guk continues to yearn for Young-eun and uses his memories of her as motivation. He journeys to scenic locations for his photography and successfully holds his exhibition. 2 years pass, and he gets a call from the Korean Fashion Industry Association about the upcoming Fashion Week in Busan. They want him to work on a project involving a leading fashion brand and a rising designer. Do-hoon picks Jae-guk up when he returns to Korea and mentions Young-eun's brand. Jae-guk has a knowing smile on his face. Shortly after Jae-guk left for Paris, Chi-suk confessed to loving Do-hoon with all her heart. Now 2 years later, they've taken the next step and moved in together. CEO Hwang is scandalized, worrying over what people will say about them living together without first getting married. Chi-suk doesn't share an ounce of his concern, and Do-hoon sticks to his belief that marriage is a private matter between the partners involved. CEO Hwang is stressed by their nonchalance, but it's unlikely that he'll give them much more trouble than that. Although, Taek-soo now lives next door, and when he comes over to fix Youngja's faulty lights, it seems like there is some romantic tension brewing between them. Youngja explains that she had wanted him to show this sort of concern and thought for her when they were actually married. She sends him home with a bag full of side dishes that leaves him giddy. With Fashion Week just over the horizon, everyone flocks to Busan. Young-eun and Jae-guk stroll around the city. Just missing each other multiple times, they finally come face to face, greeting each other with warm smiles. Young-eun praises Jae-guk's exhibition, which she saw in a magazine. Young-eun has a flashback to the day she decided on her brand name, Wa, taken from the Korean word for reciprocation. For the love that Jae-guk gave her, the love that showed her how to be fearless, she considers building her brand until she's successful enough to meet him again, a form of reciprocation. While this would seem like a solid path to a renewed relationship, Young-eun's voiceover then defines them as still being in the process of breaking up. And that's where we leave this couple, in a relationship perpetually defined by its end. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and keep loving.